There's a device that I've been using called a Whoop.
Then I am not rescuing goats from that evil Joshua Bardwell. I'm shopping on infinityloops.com. Premium t-shirts, hoodies and sticker bomb designs. The right gift for that rally. Rambunctious goat rancher in your life. Learn something today. Shop now.
Hey, what's going on there, iGoers? Welcome to challenge number 10, the Infinity Loops chopping block. I'm Heads, and joining me, as usual, remotely, is Referee OG. Not much to say, no problem. We're going to be running you through the requirements for this week's challenge, which is going to involve some freestyling and some honesty on your part. So let's get into those requirements. Requirement number 1. You must perform a freestyle run that is a maximum of 60 seconds long. Your run will begin when you do the first trick, and anything that you do within that 60-second timer will count towards your overall run or your score. Requirement number 2. Ref OG, did you want to handle this next one maybe, or... No? Okay. Next, you'll need to make a copy of the score calculator and then fill it out with the tricks that you performed to get your total score. Make sure to save your calculator with your pilot name and attach it to the submission form. You must include your total score either in your video somewhere on the screen or in the video title. Requirement number 3. It's very important that you either include the words chopping block on your OSD or you do a chopping motion with your arm at either before or after your run in the recording. The idea here is just to show that it's a fresh run and it wasn't some run you did a year ago that you were just really happy with and kind of worked for the challenge. We want to make sure this is a fresh run, so either chopping block on the OSD or a good chopping motion before or after the run. No funny business. The only real point of focus with this challenge is just that you be honest when scoring your run. If you don't perform a trick cleanly, for instance, if you do a power loop or a Matty flip and you don't have constant loop motion, then you're going to want to make sure that you mark it down as sloppy on the calculator. Also, if you unintentionally bump into anything or have a ground tap, make sure to include that mistake on your score sheet. It will have an effect on your multiplier and therefore your overall score. A note from Skittles. If everyone passes challenge number 9, then it will be the top 14 scores out of the pilots with IGO that will go on to join the 10 pilots that have already qualified for the playoffs and the 8 pilots that currently have 2 letters and could qualify for the playoffs by passing challenge number 8. If, for example, 3 of the pilots with IG get a 3rd letter on challenge number 9, then it would add 3 open spots in the playoffs, so it would then be the top 17 scores that would make it. Following along?
I'm so lost right now.
Hey, me too. For the pilots that have already qualified, you do not have to participate. However, if you want to avoid a letter, then you must participate and score higher than whatever the minimum score threshold ends up being. You got to score above that to avoid getting the letter. Makes sense? Good, because this is the chopping block, and it's going to get a little messy.
Warning, the following example is for preseason challenge number 8 and is just used to show how to score a freestyle run. This example lacks the crucial requirement number 2 for the chopping block challenge, which is the chopping block hand motion to show that your run was done specifically for this challenge.
We never face it. What if we find a way to escape it? We could be free, free. We can't fix it if we never face it. Let the past be the past till it's weightless.
Time goes by. by and I lose perspective. Yeah, hope only hurts, so I just forget it. But you're breaking through all the dark in me when I thought that nobody could. And you're waking up all these parts of me that I thought were buried for good. Between imposter and this monster, I've been lost inside my head. Ain't no choice when all these voices keep me pointed towards no end. It's just easy when I'm with you. No one sees me the way you do. I don't trust this.
And as you can see, I have the iGauss score calculator pulled up here, and you can get to this via the link in the description or also on the website as well as in the Discord. There should be plenty of places that get you to this sheet. Anyway, as you can see, the first step as listed in the instructions is to make a copy of the calculator. So you want to go here and click File. Don't click Save a Copy, click Make a Copy. And this will allow you to make a copy of the calculator. And I would just name it like your thing, so I'm going to call it Skittles. I got a score calculator and make a copy of it. Can take a second. Alright, there we go. So now we've got exact copy of it up, and we can go to the calculator here. We can see a list of all the different tricks here as well as our place to input it. We're going to start by putting my pilot name in here, Skittles. And now I'm going to bring up my video so I can watch that at the same time. So I'm going to kind of size this. All right, so now we've got our clip pulled up. I already have looked through them and chosen the one that I was going to use. Typically, your clip with your most tricks with the least number of mistakes is going to be the most points. But if you have one where you do harder tricks and maybe less or have some mistakes in there, it might be worth more. You could score multiple runs, but you can only submit one. So you can fill out the calculator and then you could click to reset it if you need to. But yeah, so basically I just go through the run. All right, so we start flip and then roll and then split. So you can find the trick by going down the list, or you can type in to narrow it down, split S, and then power loop, power flip, power loop, power flip, then I think trippy. Yep, so 2 trippies, trippy spin. So Rubik's Cube and then 360 ham. So we got Rubik's Cube, then ham. 2 Matty flips. Then a ham hook and another Rubik's ham hook, Rubik's. All right, so my time started basically at 1 second, so I still have like 15 seconds left or so. Alright, so then I go trippy spin. And as you can see, this is the 3rd trippy spin I have in the run, so I'm starting to get a penalty for doing the same trick too many times. And then, so I have a trippy spin, and then a trippy spin into a trippy rewind. But the trippy rewind in the scoring here, it requires you to do a full trippy spin first, then the trippy rewind, then a full trippy spin afterwards. So that's why I did 2 on each end, so I could get the trippy rewind, and then another trippy spin on the other side, and you can see the penalty for the fourth time I'm using a trippy spin is really making the trick worth a lot less. If I do another one after that, it takes it down to basically 1%, so I'm almost scoring nothing for the fifth and beyond use. Anyway, I don't do any more trippy spins. The next trick is a Matty flip, half Matty, and then roll. So this is going to be my third Matty, so I'm also going to get a little bit of a deduction there, and then half Matty, and finished it off with a roll. All right, so there you can see my overall score. Now I have to put in the total number of obstacles I use, and that doesn't include the open air. So if we go back and refresh, I start off with the flip and the roll in the air, and then we use this obstacle for the power loop. So that's one obstacle. Then we come over this tree for some trippy spins. That's two obstacles. And some more open air tricks. Then we use this branch. That's the third obstacle. And then finally we go over to the pole. And that's going to finish it off, our fourth obstacle. So we put in the number 4 here, and that's going to give us a little bit of a bonus. So one more thing I want to point out is that let's say on this Matty flip here, I bump the branch. So if you put in a bump, you can see it not only reduces the points for that specific trick quite a bit, but it also lowers back down your multiplier, so then you have to build it back up. And if you have a full crash where you go all the way down and hit the ground, maybe you have to disarm, then you don't get any points for that specific trick, and it resets your multiplier all the way back to 0. And then you have to build it back up again. Also, let's say you just crashed like in between the two tricks. So rather than crashing on this Matty flip, let's say I only did one Matty flip, but before I got there, I crashed. There's a between tricks thing there, and then you can put the crash in, and then you wouldn't lose the points for any specific trick, but it still would reset your multiplier for your other tricks. So you could also do an in-between trick bump that would just lower down the multiplier, and the same thing there. So if you do happen to have some type of mistake in between two tricks, that's the way you can record it on your score sheet. So the last couple of things I want to cover is if you've performed a trick and you can't find it here on the trick list, then what you can do is down below is build a custom trick. So let's say you had, I don't know, half of a power loop, and then at the top, what, like a 360 ham. Where's ham? 360 ham, and then you finished it with I don't know, a half flip into Matty end. Does that even make sense? I don't know. Anyway, then you can have a custom trick created, and then you just go here and find the custom trick. There's 5 different slots, and then you can put in any trick that you need scored. And one last thing, like if you have to add in a trick and you've messed up, it can be kind of annoying to, like, you have to go and change every single one. You can't really like scoot it down, but you can just click here, click to reset, and it will reset everything in the form, except for the total number of obstacles. You gotta do that one manually, but then you can redo and score a totally different run, or just re-enter the things, whatever you need to do. All right, so once you've completely filled out your score calculator and it has all your tricks and the execution the way you think it should be, then Google Sheets is basically just going to save your form automatically, and it's just going to be in recents. So when you go in and to submit your challenge, there's going to be an extra thing here, and you just add a file by just going here, and then if you click on recent, since you had just clicked on that, you're going to see your score calculator is probably going to be the most recent thing. Boom, you insert it there along with your link and everything else you typically submit. All right, iGoers, I'm excited to see which of you will make the iGow 6 playoffs. Good luck and happy whooping.